What's going on, everybody? Hi, welcome. It is September 23rd, 2025. This is the Jeff Gerstmann Show. The final episode? I mean, it's a big day. It's a big day. Everybody, make sure you're outside and looking up into the sky and that you are nude, is what I'm told. Ben Pack is joining us. Ben, you're outside. What's it like out there? Are people being raptured out there in the streets?
So far, it's hard to tell. You know, I'm reporting in from northern California, and it's hard to say if people have been raptured or if this is just kind of what it is supposed to look like out here.
A bunch of nudos doing sicko stuff.
That's right, Jeff. You have one more chance, basically, to make it. How are you planning on kind of repenting for all the sins?
Yeah, the rapture was supposed to be today. Hey, that's an old Taco Bell.
Not me. I'm ready. I let Jesus into my heart. I let all the other guys in there too. Paul, Ringo,
Rufus from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's right. No. The movie guy that looks like the guy from the Ingmar Bergman movie. He's in there.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, I fuck with all. I'm an anti-Lenin. I imagine all religions simultaneously, just to kind of cover my bases.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about this rapture, but I just assume you gotta cover your bases. Is it a Christian rapture? Is it a Jewish rapture? Is it a Baha'i rapture? We all know Rainn Wilson would be totally safe in that. Maybe he has it right, because isn't their whole thing we fuck with all the religions are right?
Yeah.
But we're the most right of all.
But we're the most right because we're they're like, we get what you're saying, but we're the I don't know.
We're the most right.
I don't know how that stuff works.
So check out my video on Saul Pancake where I talk with Rainn Wilson about
I think that's universalism.
All of this
it's
and
about
more.
Time someone got Rainn Wilson in front of a microphone to espouse his views on just about
all
anything.
Religions are right.
This is I'm
hell's
something of a TikTok user, I guess, for now.
That's all I'm saying. People
I
go
had
to
a
hell
good run of lately it's really the last week.
You go to hell because you want to.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you don't know about the rapture.
Now,
I've got a book.
I could be wrong. That goes against.
There's
a lot
just
of
been
teachings,
this flood of people thinking that okay, it's going to be September 24th, which today's 23rd, but it's the 24th somewhere else,
born in the wrong place.
And so there's.
I don't know.
At first, it was I was getting all these videos of people saying this comet, the 3I comet. I receive messages from the aliens.
Yeah, they are.
And this is not. It's not a comet. It's a spacecraft. And there's another comet, and I'm told that I'm practically quoting this woman verbatim, but she's basically said and there's another comet that has appeared. That one is not a spacecraft, but it's a signal. They might make it turn blue just to show us that that they're paying attention. And then I watched all of that video because that woman was obviously completely out of her mind, and it was glorious. And she was just fucking, just all right, whatever, okay.
I didn't even consider the time zone aspect of it. Is it a rolling rapture?
So that has become the question today, is that there's people on TikTok going, if y'all in New Zealand, you got to tell us what's happening. Is you get raptured or what? Like it's a release of an Xbox game. So that gave way to there was a couple of people who were vaguely scientific. They had pictures of the solar system behind them, and they're well, okay, so this comet here, there's an unprecedented number of comets. And then a weird hard shift into there are 7 dark comets coming from behind the sun, and they're all headed directly towards us. So there's something about to, by the end of the year, we're really going to see some, and
so spread out around the sun,
like they came from behind the sun to get us or something. And I'm okay, all right. And so there was a ton of
our ass.
Yeah,
like that.
So there was a lot of alien stuff around this. And then I must have watched one too many videos Yeah,
and
then it's actually like a Mario game where the platformers
maybe you're into what's happening this week. Here's what else is happening this week, and it suddenly became a nonstop cavalcade of people saying like, "Oh, the rapture's happening," and like you can't tell. You can't tell. Like some of these people seem like they're like having fun with it because they're the people who are just like, "Yep, you need to get outside and be completely naked."
It's a platform,
and like as if they're trying to goad people into standing outside nude or something like that.
Well, like, this is a trend, and I have to. My brain is wired so that I must
right.
catch it on trends.
And so like those people seemed like they were having fun with it, but then you had a lot of people who were very clearly like the true believers who had made this their entire brand, who were just like, "Yep, the rapture is definitely happening, and it's definitely happening." Like, I don't know, you're younger than I am. Still, but it feels like that, like televangelism has finally found a home after the years of like Jim Baker and like all of these maniacs on television that are just like, if you don't give me enough money to get a brand new Cadillac, the Lord's going to call me home, and you need to call this number right now and give a love offering, and I'll send you a bucket full of prepper meals. Which you'd be like, okay, why do you need prepper meals if the rapture is going?
I've been seeing Prepper magazine pop up a lot in a lot of places. I think prepperism is kind of having a moment right now for some reason. I can't
for some reason, dude. Really?
Well, after the rapture happens,
it could be all the crazy
that
shit
there's going to be
right?
much gnashing of teeth and whatever.
Whatever happens. People are feeling a little nervous about societal
it's like a real-time strategy game, I'm told.
Totally out of the blue, right, bro?
So yeah, you'll need some MREs.
Oh, dude, come on.
Wooden stake. The normal prepper type stuff.
Okay.
If you were left behind, big if, I'm not going to cast judgment. But if you were left behind,
that is my favorite part about it. Is that the people who are convinced
the king will always be there.
Well, I'm not going to be here. Like gloating about how good they've been, as if that's an appropriate way to act, like biblically.
Come on,
to
man,
like gloat after, like, well, you pieces of shit are going to be here. I'm going to be raised up into the sky. So go fuck yourself. Like, it's really nuts.
So it's really frustrating.
What do you?
It's constantly changing.
Obviously, I'm a good person. I'm telling you.
Yes, of course. If you don't know, who would?
So if you were left behind.
Just constant
do you
stress.
think
Boom,
that
stress,
there would
stress.
be a sort of power vacuum chance to kind of start religion too? Right? Because, like, obviously now you've got, like, look, something's real and something's out there. Yeah. I went up for a sec. And I came back down.
I'm
to spread
here
the
to
word.
help you. They left me behind on purpose because
I was actually the first one up, and they told me, we're bringing you up here so nobody else can see what this special deal we're offering to you is.
Yes, they're probably, if you're asking me, would there still be grifting on the other side, around religion, on the other side of anything resembling rapture? Yes, it would probably increase like tenfold.
Okay, good to know. I mean, you've already got a platform.
So they're bitching about
will the platform still work? I mean, we have to assume that everyone who runs
and they're
Twitch,
in the video game business, right?
So
they're literally grifters.
Will any of it still work?
Somehow Kick
not bad. I'm just saying, like, they're literally salesmen.
Turns out to Kick were the pious ones all along.
Is that where some of the bitterness is coming from? The root?
They left out. If you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, it has a lot about using children to fund gambling as like a good thing. And so if you had read those the way I had read them, you would see.
But grifting for video games is okay.
You'd have an easier time fitting a camel through the eye of a needle than getting to heaven if you don't bet $15,000 on the Rotten Tomatoes score of Avengers Doomsday.
I'm
just saying that Aiden Ross has a lot of interesting ideas.
Yeah, I'm just killing time here.
But you'll grift for video games, and we have the data.
I was just reading about
video
the platforms
games,
you go to when you get banned from Kick, because apparently Kick has even started to crack down
lying about
a little
fucking
bit
video games
for reasons,
is okay.
and now there's like Floopy or something.
I was way into.
You know what I mean?
It still exists, but it was a network of. It was like a guy built a live streaming service, like a Kick or a Twitch or whatever, and you could go sign up and you could stream through it. And he built it years ago because he must have. It looks ancient.
but he branded it several different ways, depending on what you were into. And so there was the main site, but then he had another one that was vapors.tv. And like he was specifically trying to be like, well, if you're streaming yourself vaping, if you want to do vape talk, this is the platform for you.
If you got a grip, you can't complain about someone else.
It was amazing. Because it was like, it was these people who had this, like, they were vaping, but they were also vaping for freedom.
Like now, if you were a plumber,
right,
it was a plumber, you know what I mean?
For freedom, freedom to vape. It's our right to vape, and we need to contact the Congress, these
to talk, to influence
motherfuckers in Washington that want to restrict your right to vape. I want to vape only the stickiest, sweetest, orange cream flavored vape juices, and they're trying to ban them. They say the kids love the sweet flavors. Well, I do too. God damn it!
It's so wrong to have a little bit of a sweet tooth and enjoy liquid smoke.
Yeah. And the vapors.tv shut down, or now it redirects to the main site, which is like Vaughn. I missed most of the guy's name or something. I don't know. But like it redirects to whatever the main platform is, with like this message that says like, yeah, we tried to carve out of vaping. There's still a vape category on this site if you want to do it. And you go there and it's like super old dudes, like older than me, that are like playing songs. That are just listening to music with like big American flags draped behind them, and they're just like, we're talking about the truth here. Now here's some Skinner. It's super weird. It's like it is an alternate reality of streaming platforms in a way. And then there's always one channel that's just like, I don't know, here's The Simpsons.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that one's got 12 viewers, and everyone else has like 3.
Dude, it gets so fake, you can't fucking play it anymore, dude.
I remember when.
Like, just come on out, dude. Just fucking wipe all the fucking graphics away and just give me little dots or whatever, a fucking mini game. Give me a little mini game to play and say, here.
And like, I know there are probably
dude, go get the cheat codes, I guess. Dude, what are you doing?
Not that complicated.
Like, what is happening,
dude? I tried to make it more complicated, and then I was like getting frustrated with finding a workaround, and so I was like, okay, maybe I can like
I don't know what we're doing now.
Find another one of these alternate streaming sites, like like a F tier.
Yeah,
not in terms of product, only
what's
in terms
the gameplay?
of popularity.
Of course.
What's the gameplay here?
I found one that had like I was like looking at all the live channels, and the most popular one had like 4 streams.
So it's literally a platformer.
Perfect. I can stream this on here. And they shut me down within 20 minutes. And I'm like, maybe they're small enough that they're like, oh my god, somebody new has joined the platform.
I just don't get it. Why they make
like,
it
what's
so
he doing? Oh no!
I
bet that happens a lot though too. I bet that there's like a high percentage of new accounts that are registered just to do.
I'm just trying to get across the fucking town, dude.
Or stream pornography or something.
Right. But they like put you on like a watch list.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, we're gonna keep an eye on you for your first stream because
they do everything they can to just make it.
And I was streaming
low grade,
the Coen Brothers, which are the opposite of porn.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
they're all horrors.
That's not porn at all. I think Kick. I don't know if Kick is still like this because I haven't checked in on it in a long time. But when it first started, I was like, well, I'll sign up for an account, and who knows? And I've never run a stream on Kick because
the only option they give you is don't play.
But like,
turn it off, don't play. Burn it all down.
The most watched channels back then, it was like the Super Mario Brothers movie had just come out. And so it was like someone streaming some sketchy cam, telesync, whatever, onto Kick on loop for like hours. And I watched like half of it. And I was like, yeah, this isn't getting shut down at all. And then I woke up the next morning, the channel was still there, still just looping the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is not a serious, they're not, like any serious business that was trying to be like, hey, we're trying to provide a good alternative for streamers and we care about, like they would have shut it down by then. It was just clear at that point. It was like, okay, this thing is like basically a scam. And there was
ruining the sanctity of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Exactly. And so that is how I first saw that film, or like was in bits and pieces over that channel being live for like kind of a long time.
Yeah, and it doesn't
I remember
care,
when people
dude.
were streaming on Artifact, the Artifact Twitch. There was just
the camera's not looking at
movies
it.
and porno. For some reason, Artifact was like the place to stream.
I love when people get like TikTok has like a live stream thing, and people get real weird with it there, and some of the Twitch stuff too, where like you'll have a guy who's just sitting there staring at it. It's like it's a close up of his face, and he's wearing sunglasses, and you can see UFC in the reflection of his sunglasses, like it's a Nathan Fielder bit or something. And he's streaming out pay-per-views that way, or sometimes you would see people streaming wrestling pay-per-views, and they would be there holding a controller, as if like trying to say like, yeah, I'm just streaming the game, which is fun. I don't know.
Fun.
It's a fun way to do a super dumb thing. And I don't know. I was a big fan of those types of attempts, but yeah, I don't know. It's getting harder and harder to find a place to just like put stuff, especially if you're trying to, like whatever. If you're trying to steal shit, there are obviously avenues for whatever. But I mean, if you're trying to do something lightly artistic with copyrighted material, as if you are sampling it or what have you, like it's getting harder and harder to create and distribute that kind of art, just because where are you going to put it?
Right.
Like so many robots get immediately triggered by, whatever you're trying to do. Like YouTube is super nuts. And
I remember the Minecraft movie was up on like Twitter for like 2 days, and it was like, fuck it, here's the whole Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
So maybe we must return
to Twitter. I think even they're trying to, pretend to care about anything. I don't know.
Okay, wait. Brock, blame me the Minecraft movie, but make it sexy. There we go. Problem solved.
I'm on it, bitch.
Got a game war going on.
Brock's edgy. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Yes.
Oh, my guy's here.
It's like it's the Minecraft movie, but it's like full of Rick and Morty dialogue for some reason. Just like I generated this special version for you.
Steve, we gotta get to the Ender Dragon, Steve.
What'd you say?
Yes, exactly. My son is sick. I keep looking. I have a camera over here pointed into his room. At what age do you think? I mean, you as an expert with child raising. What age do you think I should remove cameras from the kids' rooms?
Never. Puberty.
When they're old enough to like walk up and look into it and say,
puberty.
I'm watching.
No.
Well, it's funny because they'll see it from the other end. Because I have the thing down here, and so sometimes if one of them's up in the room and the other one's down here, they'll just watch and go like, oh, look at that. What's it's like they're not quite piecing together that like I can see you when you get out of bed and try to run down here because you want to watch television. I see it. I see it all, man. He's up there. He's not feeling well, and everybody has the day off school for some reason. I don't know what the random Tuesday.
It's the day before it's Rapture Day.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, everyone's got a lot to do before the Rapture comes. But just to finish that, it's just like where that stuff is at. Like that used to be. There were people predicting the end times and the end of the world and all of this stuff. I used to listen to this guy because the drive from San Francisco to Petaluma was a really long one. I got way into this religious radio show. This dude who insisted to be called Brother. It was Harold Camping was his name. I believe he has since passed away. But he would call up and people just like shout Bible verses at him, and he would go read them and explain them to people. But like when that wasn't happening, he was basically saying like, yeah, you don't go to church because the end times are here. It's already like he was basically like saying the end of the world is upon us and you need to get your shit together, and all the people in the church are already scam artists and all of this. And it was just like fascinating to listen to this dude talk about this, increasingly specific end of the world kind of thing. And that was like relatively recently, that was over the last like 10 years, whatever. And just the number of people over the decades. Like I'm trying to think like how many raptures how many specific dates for raptures I myself have been a part of. I get the shirt and all that, but no, like it just everyone is always predicting that is happening, and so it's funny now to see social media being leveraged for this same fucking insane bullshit. But here we are, I guess. Anyway.
Did you really just do that? It did do that, dude. Okay. No, it's cool.
It'll be an exciting one, I'm sure.
That's smart.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about video games. We still got a day of video games left, so I hope you picked out some good ones.
Oh, that's smart.
No? Okay, well, I hope you picked out some bad ones. Great. Okay, we'll be right back. Hey, have you gotten rid of the trash wallet in your life? That soupy mess in your pants of just like, what is even in here? Credit cards and there's like a squirrel living inside of your wallet? You need to fix this. It's going to mess up your back because you're going to be sitting weird. I don't know. You need to get a Ridge wallet. Ridge has a unique and slim modern design. It'll hold up to 12 cards plus your cash. It's made with premium materials, aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber even, if you need it to go fast, like a car. They have over 50 colors and styles to choose from. They've got a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. And hey, if you're worried about RFID stuff, people stealing your credit cards through your pants or whatever, Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology to keep you safe from digital pickpocketers. They also have over 100,000 5-star reviews. It's just, you don't have time to deal with these wallets. They have a lot of cool products over at Ridge. It's not just the wallet. They've got a keychain that will kind of keep your keys in place. If you are the sort of person who is picking up car keys in a room with a sleeping baby, let me tell you, it's very handy to have a keychain that does not make a bunch of jingly noise when you are trying to pick up your keys. That's extremely handy. They also have suitcases, rings, all built with the same sleek and durable design. And if you're the type of person that is going to lose your wallet over and over again, they've got an AirTag attachment, so you can slap an AirTag in there, use your iPhone, figure out where the heck your wallet went. And no matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. For a limited time, you can get 10% off at Ridge by using the code JeffG at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use the code JeffG and you're all set. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Let them know it was us. Support the show. Tell them. Tell them. And we are back. Video games. You've been talking about this Pokemon thing.
So let me set the stage. About 2 months ago, I broke my wrist.
Doing
fracture
what?
In the left wrist. Right? And
Did you fall down? Were you stopping a robber?
Some things happened.
Okay.
I was stopping a robbery. Yeah, let's go with that. I was stopping. Who's like an old? I was gonna say Bette Davis, but she's very dead. Who's like an old lady? People like.
It's like an old lady.
That's still alive.
Betty White.
Betty Boop.
No.
I was stopping Betty Boop from being mugged at gunpoint.
Nice. Okay.
Her husband was nowhere to be found. But yeah, so left hand pretty much out of commission, and I needed some time off work, and I needed something to do, a game to play. So I'm like, well, okay, something turn-based, right? Something that I can kind of like move and then press a button, and move and press a button. So I was looking through my backlog. I was like, oh, maybe this will finally be the time for me to play Final Fantasy Tactics. It's like a big blind spot. It's probably one of my biggest gaming blind spots. Like, that is a game that I should really love and have beaten multiple times. And I did the thing where I just got to like the 4th level and quit, like I do every time. Sorry, guys.
This is really good. Get me. Yeah, this is really good. I'm never gonna play it again. Yeah.
So I was like looking through, and I was reading about. I was like, oh, maybe I'll play a Pokemon game. I have a bunch of I have my old DS and a bunch of them, and I was looking through because I played,
back in when it came out, I played Pokemon Blue, played Pokemon Gold, and then stopped. Like I really played those first 2 gens, and then I played like the most recent Switch one.
That's where I'm at too. I played Red, I think, and then played like half of Gold, and then even finished Gold. And I was like, okay, that's enough of this forever. Yeah.
And I guess the reputation of those games is pretty bad. Like, it was like, they really rushed it out, and I'm like, that sounds totally different than what they do now. But I was like, maybe I'll, like, check out one of these, like, you know, because there's a million, like, fan mods of Pokemon games that are, we're the true Poke freaks, right? We're making a game for Pokemon players. And I was like, I'm interested in the idea of Pokemon, because, like, me, like, you know, probably everyone, most people my age, we like got our level 100 Charizards and just like blasted through the end game, right? You can like basically beat the Elite Four with one Pokemon. You know, it's not like designed to be super challenging. And I'm like, you know, there's still like Pokemon World Championships. People take it pretty seriously. Like,
there's a card game now, I'm told.
There's a card game. It's even on phones.
What?
And then I knew vaguely about like concepts like breeding Pokemon and like IVs and EVs. I'd heard these terms.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, let me check it out. So I'm playing this game. And I'm like cruising kind of through the early game, all right. And I get to about like the third gym. If you've never played a Pokemon game, there's like 8 gyms, right? And then once you get all 8, you beat the Elite Four, and then there's usually some kind of subplot going on with a Team Rocket or some kind of other evil organization.
They're blasting off again.
They're either trying to... They're usually trying to get some kind of crazy ancient Pokemon to come to life, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm skipping through the cutscene because it has that fan game thing of like the writing is like... There's some interesting ideas, but there's a lot of like fourth wall stuff and funny humor, you know, that like...
I love funny humor.
It's my favorite kind. It's like why we were talking about how much we like the Rick and Morty cut of Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
It's just chock full of funny humor. And so I'm like, I get pretty stuck. And I'm like, the game has a kind of like a soft level cap because like in a traditional Pokemon game, you know, it's like, your Pokemon will only listen to you up to a certain level based on what badge you get. So you can't just like do the thing where I'm going to go grind out and get a level 100 and breeze through these stuff. So I'm like, okay. Jeff, I'm in way too fucking deep and I don't see a way out. I spent 2.5 hours the other day hatching eggs because I needed a perfect 31 spread IV on my Shroomish, and I needed the right nature, and I needed the right egg moves. And if I wanted to continue a breeding chain, I needed it to be female, Jeff.
Of course.
Because the hidden ability that I wanted can only be passed from a female parent down to a child, but the male parent was a Ditto, Jeff. You see, because I had a Ditto with the IV spread of...
That ain't right.
Of like 4 S's, but the S's were where I needed the S's, and even though you only get 2 per parent, and then I feel like I've been raptured. I feel like I'm in purgatory, and I can't find a way out.
So what is the name? Which fan game is? Which nightmare fan game is this? What is this one called?
It's called Pokemon Unbound.
Okay.
It's like one of the 2 that I was seeing people kind of...
Can you fuck the Pokemon in this one?
No, but you can make them fuck. And you can't watch, but they'll tell you about it when you go pick them up. They'll be like, they seem to really like each other.
Okay, so not like a Viva Pinata situation. I see.
And I'm just like, I have like 16 bookmarks, all with the different Pokemon I want and with their best movesets based on competitive data. I'm looking at spreads of resistances and type advantages. I'm looking at my type calculator to make sure that I don't have any one with any. My team comp is never has 3 more has 3 weaknesses to the same type because then I'm going to get swept. I'm looking at doubles. Oh my God, am I looking at doubles, Jeff? I got to make sure I have a nice
like what kind
type.
of affinities do you need? Is it like King of Fighters that if you hit the button down, you get a smiley face or a frowny face, and you got to make sure you get the smiley faces together to make sure that they fight better?
I mean, you do want them to like you. They have a little heart meter, and you need to make sure they like you. And I can't tell if I like it or not. It scratches that itch I have.
It's
with
giving you
strategy
something
games.
to do.
It's giving me something to do, and I like strategy games. I like learning complicated systems in games. Like,
I put 10 hours into Borderlands 4 after finishing it and deciding it was not a very good game. So I'm not really one to talk. It's still not a very good game, but now I can speak to the end game of it and tell you it's not a very good game.
Do you think it's something they could fix? Like, are the problems patchable, or is it a fundamental? Okay.
There's fun. It would be overhaul levels of fixing. It's not like a patch. It's not like they're close to it. It's place your order. If you DLC could actually make this game worth playing.
Don't choke on the bone fragments.
But the trek from level 1 to 50, the trek through the leveling curve and the items you're getting and stuff like that are not super fun to engage with. And it's I think my main problem with it is that it is slow. The game feels like it just moves very slow, and they put things in you have an air dash and you have a grappling hook that you can use to kind of get around from place to place. It's an anime fighter now.
How many, dude?
By the way,
it's all gonna be my guys.
But they put in things that a movement shooter might have, but it's all so slow. And with too many of the weapons, you find yourself unloading 2 full magazines into a guy's face, critting every single time because it's a headshot. But it's just the health,
he's screaming at you.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that. Yes, you could fix. People have made mods that break the game in a variety of interesting ways, but that's not gonna do it either. But anyway, but yes, I get it. I have also played 170 hours of the first Descendant, which just added the ability to see the lady's feet. So I get it. I get what you mean by spending a lot of time on a game and not liking it. Okay.
For the first Descendant.
Yes, exactly. Now that they've added, but you have to buy the skins. If you want to see their feet, you have to buy their loungewear skins or their bathrobe skins, and then you can go in the lounge and they will hang out on a bed. And I have not seen this yet, but the developers claimed that they will make eye contact with you. So literally they held an anniversary stream, and that was one of the bullet points. That's the type of disgusting game I accidentally found myself playing for hundreds of hours.
Accidentally.
It's what am I doing to myself?
But yeah, with the Pokemon thing, it's engaging. It's fun to kind of form a strategy of okay, I'm forced to actually, because there's however many different types. There's a dozen different types, and each of them has 3 or 4 things that they're weak against, 3 or 4 things that they're strong against. And can you build a team that, I started watching videos on basic Pokemon team building theory, and I'm not gonna get too far into it, but I like the idea where it's they're okay, pick 1 or 2 Pokemon that you want as your core, find a Pokemon or 2 that you really like playing with, or you like how their moveset is, and then build a team around that. Here's how you cover strengths and weaknesses. And I was okay, and it really, at the end of the day, it's not that I didn't respect Pokemon as a game before, but in my head it was it's for babies.
Right. Yeah.
Because it kind of is. It is it's a kid's game, and it'll always be a kid's game. But there is an avenue to take it seriously, and the strategy behind that is a lot more complicated than I initially gave it credit for. Learning about the competitive aspect, where it's they basically work in seasons, and for this season, these 30 Pokemon are banned, or like these 60 Pokemon are banned. So like each season plays a little bit different. It's not like you're going to have kind of like the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Because there's always going to be like strongest types.
Doesn't that feel like a cop out to a certain extent, though? If they're just like arbitrarily, I mean, you know, maybe not arbitrarily, but they're just like, now you can't use these ones, and so you have to rework all your teams. Like that, they're just like putting their thumb on the scale of the meta and going like, we see you guys getting bored. Now this.
It's definitely not the most elegant way to do it, but I also don't think they're ever going to. Well, they have like patched things a little bit from game to game, like, oh, this move now doesn't cause confusion anymore because that was actually absurdly broken, right? But like, they're not going to be actively like patching things between games, right? They're not gonna. There's no incentive for the Pokemon company / Game Freak, whoever, to like really play to the competitive crowd because they know people are going to play it no matter what, and they're like, well, what's the least amount of work we can do to at least keep people coming back every year to these big events?
What's the minimum frame rate this game we can get away with here, and people will still buy a lot of them?
Yeah, it's a bummer, but I will say I've already pre-ordered my Switch 2 Pokemon Z to A bundle.
I mean, you know, it's a turn-based game. You know, you're not playing it for reasons that necessarily involve. Like, I get it. Like, you know, the frame rate is a nice-to-have thing and would be helpful in some of those larger areas that they've gotten into in the past game or two or three. Right. But at the end of the day, it's a turn-based like RPG combat thing. You know, it doesn't matter if the runaround parts run at 12 frames per second.
The only part of that I would love to see them really work on is a lot of the animations are like kind of bad, which is a bummer because that is like, yes, I agree with you. Like, I don't care if the textures are a little muddy. I don't care if the frame rate for climbing a mountain on the back of a Pokemon isn't 60. Like, whatever. It's still not. There's something. I'm 30 or 40 years old, and I still think it's neat when I'm running around an open world and I see a Pokemon. Like, Pokemon Go proved to me that, like, Pokemon is always going to be something I'm, like, I have love for a little bit. Like, I'll always... And then seeing it outside of the context of, like, a 2D sprite flying in and battling, like, is still interesting to me and novel and fun. I just, you know, it would be nice if it looked a little nicer.
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah. And everything would.
Yeah.
I always remember it as like, you know, when they first were getting ready to bring it out over here, Nintendo kind of had a lot of work to do because no one knew what Pokemon was yet. And so it had that kind of marketing, like, it's all the rage in Japan. They can't get enough of it. They're lining up around the block. It's Pokemon, and now it's coming stateside. And so they had to try to market it as like this foreign craze that everyone needs to like get in their lives or whatever. And I remember that first game coming out and being like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really neat. I don't know, like, it's a role-playing game. Like, it's just another role-playing game. You can build a team. That's you have it with like a really crazy party size, you know, and you can swap characters in and out of your party, and sometimes they evolve, I guess.
And you're recruiting them from like the overworld,
right? Yeah. But it just, no part of it seemed all that unique, I guess. Like, from that approach, it was more just like, okay, like, I've played a zillion games like this by now. In fact, I am getting tired of playing games like this because they're just getting longer and the cutscenes in them are getting more and more ridiculous on console. And so it was nice to have, like, you know, here's a compact little Game Boy game that you can knock your way through. And I don't know, the Pikachu was good. And then by the time Gold came out, you know, I think we'd already gone through the, you know, okay, the anime had probably started airing here by then, but there was definitely that spot where there was the episode in Japan that had like all the flashing lights and so like that became the thing it was known for very briefly in like a mainstream sense.
Or
like
the one where he got boobs. The Team Rocket guy got boobs.
Yeah. And that caused a lot of people to freak out.
Go ahead.
No, so it's like that is all of what I remember it for. I remember going and seeing the first movie like a couple of days before it opened because I had friends working at movie theaters, and it was like this obligation of just like,
not cool.
Well, I should go see the Pokemon movie, I guess, because it's a video game, and it's the same reason I went and saw the Tomb Raider movie early.
Whereas I was like a child, and you got an exclusive Mewtwo card if you went and saw it opening weekend.
Yeah, so I, seeing it before then, and seeing it at an employee screening, I did not get any Mewtwo cards, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm being told I'm spreading misinformation. It was actually Mew and not Mewtwo. I'm so sorry. Can I just have a second to address the?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pokemon community. Ben here, newest and most famous member and enjoyer of Pokemon. I just really wanted to take a moment. I know a lot of you have been addressing the fact that I said you got an exclusive Mewtwo card. And it's funny, I can picture it so clearly in my head. It's kind of got like an Egyptian theming. It was holographic.
Whoa,
but
I
I've
can't.
since learned, and hold on,
yeah, just predicting, dude. I can't. I gotta take.
I've since learned that it was in fact a new card.
It baited you with that one.
The fact that I could make this mistake
it baited you with that one guy
I have
back
a lot
in the
of
corner.
room to grow, and I'm hoping that you guys will be there to hold the space for me to learn, to grow,
it
to
took
change,
me forever to start
and
that
to
war.
remember that it's cleaner to drop the 2 and just say Mew.
Stop.
Right.
You got to stop,
and,
dude.
with
that's
that,
your only option is
we'll
not to play it. That's the only option they're giving you, dude, is to not
Doctors,
play it. That really sucks, doesn't it?
But it's impossible to get a hold of them.
Hey,
what are you putting off? Because you don't want to sit there and wait on the phone for like an hour trying to figure out if the doctor is even taking new patients, if they even will see you for the thing that you need to be seen about. You're like looking at this mole and you're going like, I should probably see a dermatologist, but who has the time? Now you have the time because you can book it today. That's right, ZocDoc makes it easy to find the right doctor right now, and it's all online. You might even be able to book an appointment before the end of this ad. It's fast. Hey, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, they're located nearby, and are a good fit for any medical need you may have. And they're even ranked, they're rated and stuff, so you can see how they were rated by verified patients. You can filter based on specific preferences. That's if you're looking for a male doctor, someone who speaks a specific language, has availability that fits with your work schedule, or even one that has an opening in the next day or so. And once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically just within 24 to 72 hours of booking. So more often than not, you can even get same-day appointments. That's crazy. The amount of time my wife and I, but having 3 kids and trying to get, everyone has to see the doctor and everyone has to do everything. The amount of time we have spent on the phone just trying to get people to pick up the phone so they can say, like, hey, do you have any openings in the next 3 months? Only for them to say, like, I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible. ZocDoc, lets you sidestep all of that. That's awesome. I should... I'm gonna give that a shot next time I gotta book something. Hey, stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/JeffG to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/JeffG. ZocDoc.com/JeffG.
Let me out, dude. Give me an exit. I need an exit, dude.
And we're back.
Need an exit, please.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to beat it.
Need an exit.
Okay.
Perfect. I played like 120 hours of it and got to the Elite Four and was like, I can hold a controller now.
Yeah, it's time to get back to real video games. Is there anything that has it been hard having a broken wrist? Is there stuff out that you're just like, oh, I need to play this and I can't? Like, are there new games that you're just like frantically desperate to catch up on?
It's not new, but honestly, at the time, the most frustrating thing was I was halfway into an Elden Ring playthrough, and it was really all I could think about because I was so I played it when it came out, but I played the most broken build, used summons, brute forced my way through it because I wanted to be part of the zeitgeist. If everyone's playing it, I want to beat it with everyone else, and now I'm playing it again, taking my time with it. Trying a build that's fun to me, but still not strong, and
like just like getting halfway through a big, complicated open world game and then being like, well, now you can't play it anymore. That was really the toughest thing. But like, of course, playing like, shooters with friends and stuff, I missed that a lot. Like my friends started getting back into Deadlock with all the recent changes. They added like 6 new kind of
there's a bunch of new characters,
Halloween-y characters in time for the spooky times.
Oh,
it's fun to think about.
Hallows Eve,
Halloween.
Yeah.
Can I just? No, I can't get into it. I can't get into it.
What, Deadlock? You want?
No, just I'm so fucking tired of spooky.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And it's my birthday. That's the hardest part. Halloween is my goddamn birthday, and I have people in like June being like, only 142 more days until Halloween. When could I break out my big skeleton?
It is. So I'm like that with just about every holiday at this point. It has been one of the coolest. Well, I mean, I don't know, like not top 10, but like it has been a really cool thing about having kids is that it reinvigorates your interest in a lot of things that you had written off as like super stupid.
Right.
Like
that makes sense.
Disneyland or Halloween or just about everything else. Is you're like, oh, actually, it's super fun because, my son decided like months ago that he wanted to dress up as a spooky school bus.
That's so cute.
You're like, okay, he just turned 4. His birthday was last week, and he's 22. No,
I still have the camera on.
Yeah, but no, he's. But he stuck to this. He did not for months. He was like, I want to be a school bus, a spooky school bus, and like, okay. And so we found my wife found a school bus costume. It is like it is like basically a pair of suspenders with an inflatable school bus. It is fucking super cool. It has batteries because it's like one of those. It's like a bouncy house. Like the air has to constantly be running. You can't just blow it up and seal it. And so we put this school bus on him, and it is like top 5 happiest I've ever seen. He was so stoked to be wearing this school bus. And now we have to figure out how to make it spooky. We bought some spiders and stuff. My big idea was we could print out a picture of a werewolf and tape it to it, like it was in the window,
riding it or driving it,
like it was driving the bus or something. That's my whole idea. Yeah.
Are there multiple windows? Can you have like Mummy and Frankenstein?
Yeah.
And
so I'm thinking that
all the Deadlock characters.
Yeah, basically every character from Deadlock is going to be the Deadlock school bus. And everyone's going to know those fun characters because everyone's way into Deadlock now, and it's the biggest game in the world. Did you think Deadlock would be out by now?
No.
You think like, oh, for sure, like as they've been testing it for so long, surely they will.
I just think Valve really likes to take their time. They're not ready until they're ready.
Yeah.
So I figured because they're still not even calling it a beta.
Yeah.
And I think this is right that you still can't just go download it.
You still have to be invited by a friend, I think, to play it. I mean, it's pretty widespread.
Yeah.
But like when Dota 2 was a beta, I don't think it was locked away like this.
No.
Like they definitely started with invites. Yeah.
But
they definitely started
really opened it up.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen. I think there will be some point where they're like, hey, the game is open and we've done a bunch of maybe a new content push around the same time.
Yeah.
And then months later, they'll be like, it's out. Or even years. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And then it'll be ready for the international or whatever they decide to do with it competitively or spectator wise or
right.
Or whatever. Yeah. I've been playing a handful of games.
Yeah.
I started playing. This came out like a few weeks ago, and it just kind of passed me by because I was looking at it, and there are so many games that I think you look at and go like, oh, it's like here's another company kind of making a Souls-esque kind of thing here, and I don't even like the main ones of those very much anymore. So why would I? But I finally got around to trying out Hell Is Us, which I'm playing the PC version of it. It's really neat. It's really, really, really neat. There's a movement speed to this that a lot of games in that category don't have, to the point where I think that the Souls-like comparisons are really superficial. You know, it's like, you know, it is the guy looking at butterfly meme like thing of like people just want to label every single thing a Souls-like, but like really it's just it's kind of an action adventure game, and it has a stamina bar.
You drop there's a stamina bar. Do you drop your XP when you die and have to go pick it up?
Well, I haven't died yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, bold of me to assume.
Yeah. But yes, probably there is like a currency that is coming off of dead bodies that I bet you absolutely drop. But it is. I'm trying, you know, like I'm only a couple of hours into it because the story and the setting of it is really intriguing, but also like mysterious in a way that like I'm not 100% sure how to describe it. But basically, there is an area of the world called Hedaya. I don't know, the region, I guess, of a country, and you know, it's all made up, whatever. And you were born there. Your mother smuggled you out when you were 5. You don't know why. You don't remember who they are, and you've decided to break back in. And it's like this kind of containment zone, which is not unlike like Atomfall or some other stuff like that, where they've got this kind of quarantined area, and there's peacekeepers and all. But I guess there's a war that has been happening there for a long time between two factions, on top of the containment and whatever peacekeeping efforts have been happening and all of this. And so you're kind of going into this very old-looking area, but there is technology to a certain extent. Like, one of the first things you find is a drone, but at the same time you find a sword made of a mysterious material that is like, it's cold to the end, and you have a locket that is made of the same material, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And that is the only thing that can defeat the horrible monsters that are seemingly everywhere, are weapons made of this material. And so it's an interesting mix of like sword, or now I have like dual axes, like you get that pretty early on too. And so, you know, obviously there's a trade-off of speed versus defense, you know, the things you expect from those types of weapon trade-offs. And then you also have a drone that will act as your flashlight, but you can also detach it on a cooldown to go distract an enemy. So if there are 2 enemies in a room, you can distract one, kill the other one, and then handle the other one. Okay. Ideally, while it is still distracted.
So is it the kind of combat where it's really difficult to fight more than one enemy, generally?
You are relatively mobile, and your penalty for running out of stamina is just that things happen slower. It's not that they don't happen at all.
Okay.
And so you can still kind of handle some situations if things get hairy. In fact, one of the things they very quickly do is the default enemy will have like a weird geometric nightmare burst out of it, and as long as that thing is still alive, then this guy's invincible. And so you have to fight the weird shape beast before you can beat up the humanoid-looking whatever the fuck that thing is.
Okay.
And so they do kind of have you facing multiple enemies at the same time pretty early on. But then also you're exploring weird castles and heritage sites and things that, you know, like you'll find notes that are like, I can't believe we're going into this site. Like the war is really ruining everything. Or I can't believe we're pillaging and taking up shop here. And, you know, we shouldn't be here at all. And you are going around there and killing all these guys, but also with your fancy drone and soldiers and APCs and all of that as well. And so it's an interesting mix of like relatively near future technology merged with like whatever the hell is going on in this region. And you move really fast. Like that to me is the biggest difference, is just your straight up run speed almost feels shooter-like. It's a third-person game, obviously, but like right. You are fucking booking it around these levels in Hell Is Us. Like you are climbing ladders, you're running over this way. It's not a big stamina hit to do it. You are just hauling ass. And so you have this mobility that you don't always use in combat, because it is still like, okay, I'm going to wait for this guy to attack. I'm going to parry him and do him real quick with these dirty axes and give him the business and then move on.
Is there platforming with this?
A little, like not so much. In fact, it's got like invisible walls on ledges and stuff. Like you know, I encountered some like pretty early on. You find like World War I looking ass trenches and shit.
Oh,
and so you're kind of running through these trenches, but you cannot climb out of them for whatever reason, even though it would be very easy to climb out of them or jump down into them. In fact, it won't let you do that either. You know, it's like a 3-foot trench, if that. Like you could just jump down, but no, the game will not let you do that most of the time. And so it's not necessarily like a big platformy kind of thing. But it does, you do feel like you have the upper hand mobility-wise over not just the environment, but the enemies. Oh, and so, like, I think that lends it almost splits the difference. It's not a pure character action game, but I did find myself thinking about this game as some kind of meeting point between like the Souls-like big kind of parry, slow stamina meter thing and like a little bit of like a Devil May Cry or something, you know?
Right, where it's not necessarily about like having this crazy combo meter, but having these options out in combat to like disengage, reevaluate, go back in.
Yeah, yes. To kind of like if suddenly 6 more dudes around the corner while you're fighting, you can go, fuck this, and get out. And it's really, I think it's really creepy. Like, people have had a lot of nice things to say about the atmosphere of the game all the way through, and so like it's left me wanting to see where the story leads, because it is this kind of, they do a really good job of setting up this mysterious world where not only are you like, okay, I need to find the village where I was raised, which I'm apparently nowhere near it. And you're encountering people. It's got a system of asking people questions about things you've encountered previously. So it's like a topic list will appear when you're talking to people, and so you kind of grill them about the different factions in this long-running war or whatever. And so there's a lot of like world building done there that I've found like pretty interesting to dig into so far, and some decent little puzzle solving. And then I think the combat just feels nice, and that's been good. I'm not sure. You know, you just started an Elden Ring playthrough, but I'm. Oh, one more thing about it is that it has a very active healing component, where as you are hitting enemies, you are building up all these white particles around you, and when you stop hitting them for a moment, a little white circle appears around you for like a second or maybe even less. And if you hit R1 while that circle is fully formed, you will get all your white health back.
Oh, so it's like an active reload.
Yeah,
almost.
It's like Gears active reload, but for healing. It's like a weird, and so you have healing items for when things go super bad, but if you're being smart about it as you go, you're kind of gaining your health back as you go, which, like, the aggression to regain health is like my favorite thing about Bloodborne. Right. It's like the thing that sets that game apart from all of the other ones. And so this is not that system, but it is akin to it in ways that like are really speaking to me in a pretty strong way. So I don't know, man. It's really interesting. I'm only maybe like 2 hours into it, so it's not like, you know, I can't say the whole game holds up all the way through, but like systems wise, I think they've got a bunch of really interesting mechanics, and a bunch of kind of fascinating storytelling and world building that are coming together pretty well.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah. I will say, though, and this is what I was about to... How are you feeling about combat in games these days? Because, you know, obviously you've had time off with your wrist, but like the parry window to this, to that, to... you know, multi-man combat, feeling like everything is kind of derived from like the Batman Arkham games, and that that's become this like new, you know, touchstone for everything that is followed.
We gotta go.
I'm finding that I am less enamored. Like it's still cool to parry an incoming attack and stick a motherfucker.
Yes,
like that is always, there's always going to be something to that. The same way it is fun to block someone who is trying to slam dunk, I guess. Right. For much the same reasons. But, man, there's a lot of it. You know, Assassin's Creed turned very much into that as when they kind of shifted away from the original blueprint into whatever that stuff is now, and there's just a whole lot of it, and I'm finding myself like way less like especially for a longer game. Like Hell Is Us, like I think is it changes things up enough that I'm like finding the combat to feel like pretty refreshing. But like whether it's the kind of deliberate pacing of like a Souls style game or that sort of, hey, we're going to throw 5 guys at you and you're going to go bap, 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 and then do this combo. And when your combo meter's at this, you're going to hit this to do the Batman move. And you know, like I'm send them ducats over here. I'm running out of patience, or like I've maybe played too many games that do that, and I don't know how many more I want to play.
I think you're right. I mean, like I am no stranger to parrying, right? Like, it's a big fighting game mechanic, right? It's like, that's kind of where it was developing for such a long time, and then, like, I think it's still implemented well sometimes in modern gaming. Like, I haven't played Expedition 33. I know that's a big component of it. But like Deadlock is a game where you have a parry to counter melee attacks, and it's like something that in the laning stage you're kind of really cognizant of, but then when the game opens up and there's big team fights, you'll still need 1 or 2, but like it's not really about that. So it's fun. You have like the first 10 minutes when it's just like 2-on-2 and you're like really focused on the 2 other players and where they are positioned, and then you just kind of don't have to worry about it after a certain point. And I like that because it's like distinct phases of a game.
Right.
And I think you're right in that there was like this course correction when Dark Souls and the Souls games started to pop off of like, well, we need to move away from character action, because that was like all there was on the like Xbox and 360 era was like, if you're playing a melee focused game, it's a DMC, it's you know,
it's here's your light attack, here's your heavy attack, you can buy more combos later with gems or skulls or whatever the hell
Yep, and then it morphed into the Batman thing like you're talking about, where it's like, it's a little more, you have to think a little bit more, and you have to kind of like anticipate your enemy's moves a little bit, and it's less about dodging, like you can dodge, but like, can you interrupt an enemy and do all this other stuff, and it's like, people called it more like calculated, right? It's like a little less mashy, a little more calculated, and then it was like a diverging path. It was like that, and then there was the Dark Souls on the other end, where it's like, a lot of, it's either a one-on-one encounter where you're reading a boss patterns, or it's like you have to kite a bunch of little guys and like move and stick and move, and like I don't think we ever found but I'm like trying to think of melee focused action games that have come out in the last 5 years that aren't Soulsy. And
there's like Sifu. I wouldn't necessarily say is Soulsy.
That's a little more that's got a lot of parrying too, right? Sifu.
It's been a while since I played it, but
I never really played it. It seemed like one I would have liked, but it just went under my radar.
Yeah.
It does, and like, you know, I think that's I didn't play the DMC games a lot, but I really liked 5. It was 5, right? The newest one.
Yeah.
I really liked 5 because it felt kind of novel, of like, oh, it's like, you know, got that kind of character action thing, which not a lot of people are doing anymore.
Yeah, no one is really doing anymore. Like, Devil May Cry was a weird, you know, like, Devil May Cry was a weird moment because I think people read it as, you know, Capcom had found such huge success with Resident Evil that when Devil May Cry was coming out, I think people took it in as like, oh, it's going to be like Resident Evil, but like you can fight with a sword and do all this stuff. And it's ultimately it's not that. But like in the early days, I think that was kind of the touchstone for folks. And then as it kind of carved off into more and more of its own thing, you know, you started seeing just the rush of games trying to be that.
Right.
And there's such a glut, I think, from the PS2 to sometime like either late PS3 or maybe even early PS4, where like that was the de facto kind of thing for combat. And, you know, and Batman kind of carved off a new way of thinking for that sort of stuff. And, you know, eventually I think became the dominant form of like action, like expressive combat. You know, you have a little bit of of player expressiveness in terms of like, oh, well, you can spec in a direction and be better at one thing or another. But ultimately, when you see a guy with a shield or whatever, you're still going to have to wave your cape at him to knock him, to do the thing. Because we've got 3 types of enemies and 3 types of attacks, and you've got to use the right one. And, we're building a holy triangle of fighting or whatever.
Pretty sure I hit you like 8 times, dude. Dude, I'm pretty sure I hit you,
the soul
man.
stuff, I really want to like it more than I do because
sorry, dude. Sorry.
of the time I spent trying to get better at parrying things in fighting games. Right.
Cool.
It's specifically because how cool it feels to parry something in Street Fighter 3. Or to just defend something in Mark of the Wolves and just be like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like, it is that feeling like you stuffed somebody. You said, fuck this, fuck you. Shut the fuck up.
I think a big part of that is you're doing it to another person.
Yes.
Right? Like, I have anticipated you, my opponent, who I can see sitting across from me, is going to do a DP, and I am going to, counter.
Yeah.
I picked a bad example for DP, but like, parrying a person feels a lot more rewarding to me than parrying a computer.
Yes.
For whatever reason, because the computer is expecting that you are going to. The game is built around you are going to parry me and then deliver a return, or you are going to die.
Yeah. It's a low-level version of that mind game that, like, in a fighting game can be so many layers on top of it as you try to, like, bait out what's going to happen. Whereas, like, ultimately most bosses are like, well, we do 2 different things. One is the thing that you can parry, and one is where we feint first, and then we do the thing you can parry.
Somebody in the chat mentioned Like a Dragon, and I think even more so Infinite Wealth was kind of a very refreshing take on beat-em-up style combat, which obviously has gone way, way out of favor, like, long ago. Like, there's Streets of Rage reboot, and there's
like they almost have to be retro. Like you can't, like a modern beat 'em up. Like, what even is that? It's Dynasty Warriors at a certain point.
I thought it was a really interesting take on, like, in the newest Yakuza game, like, it is a turn-based RPG, but Kiryu at any point can just say, fuck it, I'm going to start beating you up, and it becomes like an old Yakuza game, and you can just start wailing on people. Or, like, if you're by a street and you kick somebody, you will kick them into a car, and then that will cause, like, a chain reaction thing. I think, like, that's maybe where the future is, trying to, like, blend these older, whatever you want to call them, retro style, like, combat things into newer systems. Like, I think there is still room to draw from, even if character action games are less interesting. Like, is it like Black Myth Wukong, right, and Stellar Blade kind of are like smaller games that draw upon those and kind of fold in some Souls sensibility to them. But I think we're getting to the point where we have, maybe we've crossed it, but, like, there is Souls fatigue, right? Everything is a Souls.
Well, I think now we're at a point where not everything is a Souls anymore, right? Like, because there was that, that was still kind of late 360 even, I would say, where suddenly, no, I guess it was early PS4. Anyway, but it was like, it really felt like everything was just like, every third party was like, this one's like this, but it's high tech.
Right.
This one's got robots. And that was their updated take on. And not all of those games were bad. Like, some of them were fine, clones of that style or whatever. But, like, man, again, speaking from the perspective of someone who didn't especially like those games, it was a really rough time for, like, any kind of combat focused game. It was just like, you're doing this too, huh? Okay. All right. That was rough stuff. Hell Is Us doesn't feel like it's falling into that trap. I guess that's kind of my point, is that, Hell Is Us feels like a game that is very much drawing from that pool, and giving you some of the same tools at your disposal, but also between the healing mechanic and some of the other tools that they give you as you go, I think they give you enough options to keep it feeling fresh, as opposed to just locking it down into, all right, now do this for 40 hours. Learn this pattern, bait this out, hit this parry, do this damage here, do it 9 more times. Like they've found a good middle ground with it. And so, like, I'm really digging it so far. and it was not a game I expected to enjoy very much. Like, people were starting to rave about it, and we're getting towards the end of the year, and I'm like, all right, I need to start playing some of this stuff that I haven't touched yet. And then that was like literally like the first game I picked, and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking awesome.
Right.
Like, wow, this is really cool. So yeah, I'm big on Hell Is Us right now. Hopefully it'll kind of keep that going all the way through.
Yeah. I think I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. I am checking out a little bit. It's a smaller game called Don't Die, Collect Loot. It's early access on Steam. And, talking about genres that feel like that they suddenly were everywhere and are now a little too everywhere, that kind of vampire survivor, like auto shooting survival game. Like there's just been a lot of those. Deep Rock Galactic Survivors hit 1.0 last week, and that's an amazing one of those that I cannot recommend enough if you like that style of game. Like it's super fun. Don't Die Collect Loot is sort of like that, but also it is a vertically scrolling game, like retro graphic style, but you are kind of always moving forward and facing waves of enemies as you go. You can aim the shots yourself, so it is really, in a lot of ways, it is a more traditional dual stick shooter as opposed to an auto shooter. But at any point, you can set any of your abilities to auto cast and just turn it into one of those, and all you have to do at that point is aim. It's got these, so you're this little guy, and you are constantly walking forward, and these levels are not super long. You're getting to the end of them and getting run-based perks. And, it's like, hey, 3 abilities pop up, you choose one. It's one of those. And you're also leveling up as you go to kind of advance the meta progression and all of that sort of stuff. It's really fun for what it is, but also I'm worried, like there's a lot in there, and it feels almost like too much, like too many systems. There are multiple classes of character, but then there are multiple skill trees per class, and multiple active abilities on them, and you can only equip a certain number of them before you go in. And so it's this feeling of like, oh, I spent a bunch of skill points on this other thing, and oh wait, now I don't want that anymore. I want the one that has the Captain America bouncing shield instead. So I'm going to take that in there and do this. There's something to it. You're getting a lot of, like the name of the game being Don't Die, Collect Loot. Like, you are getting a lot of swords and helmets and shit with tons of stats on them, and you're rescuing people who can then craft advanced versions of that gear. And, there's a lot of bits to that, it looks like, in terms of, leveling up your equipment and saving up to level things and going to multiple zones and all of this. But for an early access game, like, it feels like a solid start to this style of game, and I like the forced scrolling, which gives it kind of an additional retro vibe on top of its already pixelated graphics, and that's been neat so far. And I'm also checking out the new game from Heather Flowers, who is the developer of Snake Farm, which, if you were on Co-host, Snake Farm was a very big deal on Co-host for a chunk of time. It is called Unfair Flips, and it's out pretty soon. It is, I guess, the opposite of an idle game. It is a relatively short, or maybe really long, depending on your luck, rumination on the concept of probability. It is a game where you need to flip a coin and get heads 10 times in a row to win. And there are upgrades you could buy. Every time it lands on heads, you get a little bit of money. And so you eventually start using that money to buy upgrades, including an upgrade. Like, when you start the game, you have a 20% chance of it landing heads. And so you have to upgrade the coin to get to a point where it is fair, and then maybe, if you save up enough money, to get slightly beyond fair to where it tilts ever so slightly in your favor. It took me about 3 hours to finally flip 10 heads. And I'm sitting there clicking my daughter was clicking the flip button for a while, and it just has a text feed as you flip that'll just say heads, tails. And if you start getting more and more heads in a row, it has like a do re mi scale that plays as it goes, and it'll start going heads, with like 2 exclamation points and 3 exclamation points, and so you're really getting amped as you're getting like 8 heads in a row. You're like, fuck yeah! And then the 9th one is tails, and you're like, that's it's really neat. It's a really simple. It has multiple endings, which is a funny idea too. On top of that, I really liked it as a short thing, and a reminder about just like probability and it will occasionally it doesn't have voice, but it will occasionally have some text in between the heads and tails that'll be like, did you know like the probability of you doing this, or here's how probability works, and here's how humans view probability. Like there's a little bit of writing about the nature about human nature as it relates to luck and probability and all of this stuff that I found to be like a fun inclusion. So that's coming out pretty soon here. I don't have Steam open anymore.
So is there any? It comes out on the 25th.
Okay, so later this week.
Is there any sort of new game plus, or are you done when you're done?
So it has multiple endings.
Okay,
and the ending is chosen at random with a percentage chance. And so there are, like, if you go look at the Steam achievements, you will see, like, it will spoil for you the endings and what percentage you have to get each one of those endings. And so I actually got the one I wanted.
Wow, good job, guys.
But now I'm like, should I go start? And then that's it. You have to start over.
They're really rocking.
In my mind, I was thinking like, well, eventually I'll earn enough money to get 100% heads, and that's how I'll win the game. But it tops out at 60%. You cannot.
Yep, all that.
You cannot get a better
money on at that point.
I just didn't look.
I really came close to
and this and that and this and that.
Busting out cheat engine.
Nobody's
and cheating at the coin flipping game. And if I decide to get the other endings, I may very well do that.
That's nothing you can do about it.
all games are coin flips all the way down, so it's really not that weird.
Yeah, but I got super into it for like a part of an afternoon.
They do, dude. Okay, no problem.
And it's a neat little thing. So do give that a look. And why don't we take one more break here, and then we'll come back and we will get into the news.
The game is fun. Playing the game is a privilege. It's a privilege of being able to play. Thank you. I wanted to thank everybody.
Hey, do you have a nutrient gap in your life? I bet you do.
Thank you for just allowing me to play.
I know I do.
Lucky to just have the privilege.
That's why I'm checking out AG1. AG1 is clinically shown to support gut health and fill in those common nutrient gaps. It's got 5 probiotic strains and 75 plus vitamins and minerals. So AG1 Next Gen replaces the need for a multivitamin, probiotics, and more. It's an easy thing. It's a powder that you're putting into water. You're shaking it up. They've got a shaker bottle if you're interested in that sort of thing. And you're shaking it up and trying it out. They have brand new flavors that help this go down. They got tropical, they got citrus, they got berry. And AG1 Next Gen is helping to raise the standard with multiple gold standard clinical trials. It's an industry where not everyone invests super heavily in research, But AG1 is going to great lengths to continually invest in rigorous, peer-reviewed clinical trials. So AG1, in the morning, replaces your need for a multivitamin, probiotics, and more for less than $3 a day with your subscription. And you're getting more than $7 worth of daily nutritional support. Makes it nice and easy. Wake up, start your day, just shake up a quick bottle, drink it down, and get moving. It's not like vitamins where you're like, okay, well, I need to eat first before I take this or else my tummy is rumbling. No, you could start your day with AG1. It's very, very handy, very easy to handle first thing in the morning. Head over to drinkag1.com/Jeff to get a free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and 5 AG1 travel packs. That's a $76 value when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/Jeff.